Fools will resign. Wise players will accept a draw. But only a true genius can find the incredible win that white has in this position. It might seem like there's no way to make any progress, because the black rook will always be able to sacrifice itself for this last pawn and at least secure a draw. But white has an incredible resource in this position. Of course, we start with c7, getting closer to getting a new queen. Now the king is defending c5 and the pawn is defending d8, so there's no way for the rook to prevent the promotion. But the rook can of course give this check to the king. Now if the king tries to attack this rook, the simple rook d1 is going to secure the draw. And actually, if we get a queen, we're going to lose this game. And king b7 is going to blunder another draw, after rook d7, pinning the pawn to the king and securing the draw for black. So actually the first very precise move that white has to find here is king b5, relinquishing the control of the pawn, but still defending all of these key squares that don't allow the rook to stop the pawn. But of course the rook can keep checking us, so actually we need to keep going down, and the rook has to keep checking us. We go down and the rook checks us. But now the situation has changed. The king can actually go to c2, because the rook is bound to the limits of the chessboard and it cannot create the skewer threat anymore. But do not celebrate too soon, because black does have a last mysterious move with rook d4. This sets up an incredible trap, because if we now try to get a queen, this is actually a blunder after the incredible and brilliant rook c4, attacking the king and the queen, forcing the queen to take, and actually stalemating by force. So believe it or not, the only way for white to win this position is to get a rook. Now of course the stalemating trap doesn't work anymore, and we are creating a checkmate threat. And some of you might think, well, but Pietro, this doesn't make any sense. The rook can just block the checkmate threat, and now this is a draw. We both have one rook left. But you would be mistaken, because actually, after king b3, we are attacking the rook and creating a new checkmate threat that cannot be stopped in any way, which means that black will have to give us the rook and lose the game, like this. If you love incredible chess, follow me for more.